Kendrick Nunn with a huge performance. He had 30 points. You could really say flirted with the triple-double. Is this qualifying of flirting with the triple-double, 37 and 8? Or does one have to be in the actual, or does one has to be in double digits for me to say flirt?
Yeah.
Is toying with the triple-double?
No.
Tickling a triple-double? Give a little coochie coo?
That's a touch 'em all. That's all that is.
Well, he was doing it all yesterday. Supervision game, 12 of 20 from the field. He was 6 of 12 from downtown yesterday, and really has been on fire ever since Victor Oladipo got hurt.
Ever since he got an opportunity.
Ever since, that's the thing with Kendrick is like his propensity to, stay ready is just so impressive. Because in the 6 games since Oladipo got hurt, he's putting up nearly 16 points a game. He's shooting 40% from 3, 52% from the field. He's been an absolute good scorer for them since Oladipo went down.
Here's what I would say. What if I took the 2 careers to this point and flipped them? Right? So I made Tyler the 25-year-old rookie, and I made Kendrick Nunn the 20-year-old rookie, and had the hot flashes that he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think what makes it difficult is because we were so on to Tyler, right? And those moments were just given to Tyler that we don't even consider because, look, he had COVID. He had a lot of stuff going on last year, Kendrick Nunn.
He did.
We don't even give him the same.
He was the starter all of last year up until COVID.
Right. But we don't even, it's like when you think of skill sets, besides the flair, is Tyler really that much better than Kendrick Nunn?
He hasn't been better this year.
I'm just saying in general. Like, I'm not going to take little snippets of either one's career and make them better or not.
But in fairness, Leroy, like this is the year. Like the year's almost in the books. I mean, there's 10 games left, so it's not like we're picking and choosing. Like we're just taking it on the merits of they're going into a playoff race. Victor Oladipo is probably going to come back.
Yeah, or how about this?
And when Victor Oladipo played, Kendrick Nunn's playing time went away. And should it? Like when he comes back,
should he come off the bench and Tyler move down?
Right, like he's obviously not going to start when Oladipo comes back.
Right,
Oladipo is definitely going to be the starter, but like who's going to be that second scoring guard with Gogi?
Right. Now I will say this: that the one thing that is a toss up is their defensive prowess or lack thereof.
Yeah, neither one of them's great.
Right.
Neither one of them is great.
But I would say, what is it because Tyler was in the first round and he's a little more, I guess.
Why does he get more of a pass? Do you think?
Not even a pass, because I don't look at either one of them as a pass. I just look at it as basketball. Like they're in their second year.
Well, I think a couple of things. I think one, Tyler had a ton of big moments last year. He was their best clutch player last year. I think it's age, and he's also, I mean, look, to be honest with you, dude, he's the most popular guy on the team.
But that's what I'm saying. If I strip all that away and just go
just by merit,
because Tyler, keep in mind, Tyler from the beginning, coming off the bench, is asked to do the things that Kendrick Nunn only gets an opportunity to do when a lot of guys are out.
Right.
Because they say, Tyler, go in the game and do you.
Tyler, I don't know if he still leads the team in fourth quarter minutes, but he plays every fourth quarter basically.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know, like the only thing I can think of that he really has an advantage of right now, because it's not really scoring, is he's 6'5", so you like him better a little bit rebounding wise, but
right. Like I don't know.
We've been seeing him get pushed around a ton too. So
it's not even like I'm trying to, say it's an issue or anything like that. I'm just curious because, like, when I see Kendrick Nunn get minutes and get opportunity, get consistent minutes, forget the fact, of the COVID and forget the fact that dude has, you think Tyler would play that way if he went 6 games without even getting a minute and being healthy? Because they're the same year in the NBA. And I would say for any young player, it's difficult.
Don't forget, he did come off of injury going into the bubble, and that's where kind of he shined. Like
okay, but that's coming off injury. You can deal with that if you go back to getting your minutes.
Yeah,
but say if you're playing well and then you just don't play for 6 weeks, that's tough for a young player.
That's the only thing I could really compare it to, because he essentially didn't play for more than 6 weeks because the season he was injured.
Right.
He was injured. He came back the last game for a couple minutes, and then the season stopped.
Right.
And I actually think the pause. We talked about this last year. You remember you saying that you think it did good for his body,
right? All the young guys.
I do think that his age and the turnaround this season, I do think that probably has had something to do with this year. Maybe there being a drop off, because it's not like nobody's ever questioned Tyler Herro's work ethic. Everybody says that he's a tremendous gym rat and all that type of stuff, but I think it's only like I do think that there's definitely a level to him where he's getting bodied a little bit this year. He doesn't have the physicality to get to the rim. He got
to get on that dunks.
Yeah, he's got to get swoller. He's got like all those little tricks, but I do think that everybody's kind of hip to his game now, and you're seeing those T-Rex arms getting swatted a lot this year.
I would just say the only thing I chalk it up to is, like, we all want to say, ooh, Tyler can just expand and grow and do this and that. And I'm like, they're still young players, both of them, and they have, things that, and I tell you all the time, one of the hardest things to do for me in my career was play running back for Bill Belichick, because you could have 130 yards one week and next week have 2 carries, right? I mean, I remember we played the playoffs against the Steelers, and I just went from, I went to the Pro Bowl that year, and then the biggest moment of the playoff game, I had 8 carries, like, for no rhyme or reason. That's just he would gameplay and stuff, and that's how it went. Well, so that's hard to deal with.
He's, that's one of the things. Like, I remember I listened to Kendrick. He did a cool thing where he did where Duncan interviewed him on his podcast, and that guy, he's so used to this. Right. Of like getting overlooked. Like, he told the story of like the Warriors G League team and how, like, he was on the Warriors and he was playing in the gym with Steph and all that type of stuff. And so he was a little overwhelmed, but then he went to the G League team and they put him on the bench there. And he goes, on the bench. And, he ended up leading them in scoring and stuff like that. So he's just, I think, just used to himself being in uncomfortable situations and still being able to go out there and produce when called upon.
You know what is a hard thing for us to do in sports? The hardest thing for us to do in sports, and I think this is one of the reasons why I get so mad at Robbie, right? Is that
I mean, like, well, what?
Is that we look at a guy and determine what kind of player he's going to be. And so if you see Kendrick, he's not really tall, right?
No,
he doesn't have
6 foot, 6'1".
He doesn't have, like, if you think of that one skill that he possesses, jumping ability, quick as a cat, nothing. But he can play basketball, and you have to get over that. I learned how to get over that watching big fat linemen. And some of the most athletic guys on my team were offensive and defensive linemen. And when you think of sports, it's hard to conceptualize the fact that your most out of shape looking guy could be one of your best athletes. And they do the same thing in basketball, where you say, "Ooh, wingspan 6'7", wingspan 6'8". Can D play the and guys like Kendrick Nunn, you're like, oh yeah, we'll give him a chance. He balled out here or there. And it takes a while for people to just acknowledge, dude is a good basketball player, period. Forget the size.
Right. David Allen says on Twitch, I think Kendrick is better than Tyler, but Tyler was the draft pick while Nunn was picked up off the trash heap. I'm sure there's some of that. I'm sure there's some of that, but I mean, like we've seen, Spo's kind of shown with Precious this year. Like he's not like forced into playing the first round pick. I think it probably now Tyler showed way more in his rookie year than Precious did by a long shot. So
yep.
That's and so did Kendrick, quite frankly. I mean,
well, here he was the only guy, and this is what I say. Even between Precious, Kendrick Nunn, and Tyler was the only guy that was sitting in the game and say, "Just go get buckets."
Yeah,
he like we didn't think of, "Ooh, Tyler's not going to play because he's not that good on defense." Oh, he's not going to play because he doesn't understand the scheme of basketball. Nope. But the other guys get that. Kendrick Nunn, he had to, as a rookie, he had to be responsible for the basketball and play point guard. When you think of Precious, they talk about, he hasn't picked it up on defense yet. He doesn't know where he needs to be. So sometimes the role that you have to play when you get into the league gives you the ability to not have to concentrate on it. Tyler Herro, like, we never talked about him playing defense. This is the Miami Heat. And think about it. Well, you talk about dunks and Tyler, you say, their defense.
Yeah, but I think the thing was, though, their shooting last year, those two especially, their shooting was so crazy good, you could ignore it. You could ignore it. Like, it was just, especially Tyler in the clutch. Like, Tyler, those fourth quarters,
right,
coming up in big moments. Like, you're like, all right, well, yeah, he's going to give some up, but also if Jimmy causes a turnover and gives it to Baby Goat on the break, like he's gonna hit it.
Yeah, but think about it. You're talking about the Miami Heat now.
I know.
You're saying that about the Miami Heat.
It was a breakaway for sure.
Okay, all right.
It definitely was. We'll take a break because there's more Tyler Herro stuff we got to talk about as well.
By the way, Jay Fig, how does it feel to share a birthday with Kelly Olynyk?
I noticed that. I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago. I don't really think about that.
It feels like how everybody feels about Kelly Olynyk.
Right.
Yeah.
How old did he turn?
He got a warm reception yesterday, by the way. He got a very warm reception.
Like they like, what they like? They like KO's effort.
Yeah, be honest with you, there's only one guy I've heard get booed in their return to Miami, and it's Hassan.
Yeah, we got shooters.
Even Dion got a warm reception. When I thought Dion was going to get booed for sure because of all the suspension stuff, Dion got a big applause. The fans loved him. The fans that were in the building at least. And then when Hassan came back, booed his ass off. And they started chanting, "We got shooters."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was every time he touched the ball too. It was a tense, hostile environment.
That Kerner kid, Braun got booed. No, Braun got a huge applause. His first return. He did get heckled. I believe Solana started this chant before. Remember, he was working in promotions when he told us this. He got hit with a LeBron is tired chant by a lot of Heat fans during one of the games.
It was a game he didn't play. It was the first of LeBron's Heat sit downs.
Yeah, he started sitting during Heat games. It was very annoying. Like he'd come to Miami and he wouldn't play basketball for no reason, and it was very disrespectful. And so he started like throwing up his ring fingers, like, "Ooh, the rings." It's like, hey, all right, bro. Like when everybody was calling you a choke artist bum and we had your back when you hadn't won nothing and you did nothing, and the only people you had to warm your ego was Heat Nation. We were the firelight to keep you warm. You appreciated us then, but as soon as you left for that hellhole in Cleveland where they peed on urinal cakes with your face on them, you went right back to them. You played for them.
Gilbert.
Disgusting. I'm not Team Petty anymore. I'm just saying.
What? No, you're past Team Petty.
That was in the
now
time
you're
period.
Team Grudge.
Did I tell you, dude? I was watching the late. I was at a restaurant the other day, and the Lakers were playing. My daughter just looks across. This is so bad. She goes, "Daddy, it's the Lakers. Doesn't that traitor play for them?"
Jeez.
Oh, we should give your daughter a point.
I'm calling social services. Like, what are you doing? There's no child should have that type of anger at this stage. What's she gonna do when she's 20? What is she gonna do?
How funny he finds this.
I was proud
when she actually has a reason.
What? That's how my kids. This is how my. This is how
I can
my.
hear it now. I know she's 18, 19 years old. He goes, "Hey, what happened to that young fella you were dating? Bum, daddy, bum, straight bum."
I'm gonna be proud. That's how my kids are though. Like when my kids walk by the television, they always ask. They goes, "Who are we rooting against?" It's never who are we rooting for.
Yeah, okay, because they know you. They know you. I think Robbie, when he has a kid, is going to be born with a newspaper underneath his arm with the odds on it.
Dade South goes,
Daddy, who we got in the third?
Dade South goes, Penny in pink.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Point for Twitcher.
That. Come on, man. Come on. You don't think you maybe have gone? Your wife has to hate that. She has to hate that.
She's not proud. Well, but my wife, I tried playing the whole, "Oh, I'm not mad at LeBron anymore" thing. She goes, "Okay, bro."
Right.
She's like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not. I really don't care about LeBron.
Dude, we could be walking. We could be going to get lunch, and you'll see something out of the corner of your eye that's purple. And you go, "Oh, Lakers, LeBron, bum."
It's not true. I don't care about LeBron and the Lakers. I don't.
Then you immediately put the disclaimer on it. Not that I'm petty anymore.
I'm not Team Petty anymore.
Really?
When he was on Cleveland, I wanted him to
that
lose.
Sounds
every
like
game.
a whole bunch of petty.
I'm not Team Petty on LeBron anymore, dude. I'm not.
Right. But when he was in Cleveland, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was the Pope.
Okay.
Right now, there's new.
Well,
there's new white.
See, that's what happens.
My body's telling me.
Because even your own brain is like, "Oh, here comes some BS. Send some phlegm. Send the phlegm."
You know what the funny thing was? It was hilarious. LeBron, having to take the attention away from Bam's game winner. Like, "Oh, let me tweet about it." All right, bro.
And that's what you think.
Oh, that's
like he can't just be congratulatory.
No, because he wants to get on SportsCenter because he knows, game winner's going to be on SportsCenter. I haven't played in 3 weeks. Let me tweet about it. Rachel put it up
That's
there.
what he's thinking.
That's exactly what he's thinking.
Hey, you have honestly made it sound like LeBron doesn't have a genuine bone in his body. See, look.
Did you raise Robbie?
There's something to develop a kid, but when you can get a grown ass man, right? Like you have taken what you do, and Robbie has taken the torch and ran with it, and now everything comes out of his mouth is negative.
Listen, I don't even know if my daughter was talking about it. Maybe she was talking about Anthony Davis. She didn't say LeBron.
I mean, he wasn't.
Where's he traded from?
New Orleans. He was rats off a ship.
Yeah, he is a trader
big
too.
Fan of New Orleans. Big fan of the Pelicans, right?
Oh yeah, huge. We love the Pelicans.
Okay. Wait.
Do you think?
Let me ask you this: if she's a great hockey fan, does she think Bobrovsky's a bum?
No, she does think Bobrovsky's a bum. She hates Bobrovsky.
She misses Luongo.
Why? Why does she hate Bobrovsky?
Because she loves Roberto Luongo, and she hates Bobrovsky.
No,
but her first game was with Roberto Luongo. So she remembers Roberto. She it's like ingrained in her mind. I said, "Well, we have a new guy. His name's Bobrovsky. Daddy interviews him a bunch." And she goes, "He stinks because we haven't seen him win yet."
Yeah, right. It's funny. You're the only one. You're the only one in sports that doesn't think he's been terrible.
But he hasn't been terrible this year. 6th in wins.
Let me ask you a question. When it gets down to the playoffs, what stat do you think is going to prevail? His goals against or his wins?
Wins.
No.
It's the race. It's the race to win a series.
Goals against.
He's under 3.
According to your stats, so is the entire NHL.
All right, somebody's stirring up some trouble. We'll get to that next. So I was doing some perusing yesterday
on Twitter.
perused the blogs, I perused Twitter, and Tyler Herro was trending. And it says, this is a headline from the blogs. There's many blogs that have this on there, and it says, Miami Heat have reportedly been concerned for months about Tyler Herro acting like a celebrity despite not playing well this season. So I was like, all right, I'm in. You got a headline like that? I'm in. Let's see what it says. And I scrolled down, and who's causing this trouble? Where's this report coming from? And it's Ira Winderman and Ethan Skolnick stirring it up as they were doing a podcast. I don't know. Well, let's see what they had to say. They were talking about Tyler Herro, and they transcribe Ira Winderman. It's right here in the blog. Tyler Herro chose to become a celebrity. He chose to be something outside the game, as is his right, with his breakfast cereal and his Tyler Tuesdays and his Chipotle bowl, which, by the way, it's a good bowl. It's not very special. It's kind of just like your standard, meat, sour cream. That's what everybody gets on it, but whatever. Good for him. He has his own Chipotle bowl. And you know what? Other players in the league, when they see a player doing that before they've truly reached it, I don't know if you want to say there's jealousy. They sort of take a scant view of the guy like, wait a minute, buddy, you haven't done anything. Skolnick replies, ultimately, the team starts to get a certain level of concern. And in this particular case, the team has been concerned now for months. Now, I saw Skolnick on Twitter was saying that these damn aggregators, they're taking it out of context. But as we like to say on this show, Ethan, the damage is done, my friend. It's on every blog.
The damage is done, my friend.
I don't know what to tell you. It's off and running. Like once it's out there in the ether, whether it be from a podcast or whoever, it's out. When it's out there, it's out there. The one thing I will say, though, is one, I don't think Tyler Herro is playing badly because he's acting like a celebrity. Okay. I think if anything, the Heat having concerns of that, if that is the case, which I have no reason to believe that it's not true. Ethan is plugged in. He has sauces, as does Ira, who's been covering the Heat longer than Ira Winderman. So I don't doubt what they're saying. But here's what I would say is silly about that, if that is a concern from the Heat standpoint. You guys enabled this, if that is the case.
Right.
There's nobody you guys have marketed on this team more than Tyler Herro. There are no jerseys that get sold faster. When the vice versa jerseys come out, who's the first jersey that gets to go out of the pre-order? Tyler Herro. -1, bro. I know what you're -1. You're such a rat bastard. -1.
-1 for sass.
I had to.
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you for adding the sass to that. Tyler Herro. Okay. Who was the first Heat player to get his own clothing line via Court Culture? Tyler Herro. Tyler Tuesdays, that's promoted by the team. It's a Jimmy Butler creation. And the guy has a Chipotle bowl. Like, all right, really. Now he did have his own Jack Harlow song. That's named Tyler Herro. I will say that probably goes to one's head. That probably does go to one's head. It's not a very good song either. He's got like a piccolo in the background.
I would say yes.
What?
That everybody is right. Everybody. Like, the Heat aren't wrong for promoting their players, especially with the year he had. Ethan and Ira aren't wrong for hearing those thoughts or suggesting those thoughts, because, again, if you ever want to get a team or a veteran to play some of his basketball, have him play against one of the hot shot young guys.
I'm surprised Ethan didn't do, no, that wasn't me. That was Schmeeth and Smolnik. They got the wrong guy.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is this, is that when you have success like that the first year, and then they start game planning against you, they start finding your tendencies, your weaknesses, they start guys who defending you know your go-to moves.
Right.
Okay. You have to adjust. What ends up happening to young players going into their second and third year, it's not that they're not putting in the work. It's not that they're not getting better, but it's that they now have to figure out how to counteract what a team is doing to me, when that first year, all you had to do was go out and play basketball. Tyler, they just roll him the basketball and say, go be you. Well, now you has to be different because they have game plan for you. And that's the problem that young guys have.
And the other thing is, I do definitely think that there have been some physical limitations from him this year. And I don't know if that's a cause of the quick turnaround or what, but he doesn't physically still look like he can hang with a lot of players in the NBA. He still has some slick moves and he has a bag, but he hasn't got to that point where, like you said with Duncan Robinson, like it looked like Duncan Robinson beefed up. He put some muscle on. He and also
Duncan is what, 4 years older than Tyler?
Older. Yeah, he is a lot older.
So like again, we're putting all these things on young players. And what I'll say in basketball is, if you look at everybody's success when they play basketball, it comes around year 6 or 7. So because we have these young guys, it's unfortunate that when people write about players, they don't ever really take this under consideration. Like, you never hear an article, Tyler Johnson is struggling, but guess what? This is just growing pains in the NBA because most guys don't hit their stride till their 6th or 7th year. Now make those comments.
Yeah, how crazy. Most guys come into the league, and especially with the Heat, they don't come in like Tyler Herro. Like, most of them are doing what
they don't get to play that much.
Yeah, most are doing what Justice Winslow did, where he's coming in and averaging 4 points and, go be a hustle guy, Justice, and then Justice wants to go be Winslow culture guy.
Right.
They don't come in and burst onto the scene like Tyler Herro did. But I don't think that that's a cause for why I don't think it's first of all, I don't think it's the reason he struggles because this has all gone to his head. And I don't think I don't think that the team should be being concerned about because a guy is popular. Right. Like, you made like it's not like they were like, we gotta steer Tyler Herro away from interviews and we gotta steer Tyler Herro away from marketing. Like, they're selling those 14 jerseys off the shelves like crazy.
The other thing is that what I would say to you is, or to anyone, imagine when you first got out of college, having to go live in a new city. You finally didn't have to worry about school. All you had to worry about work. Maybe you went a little buck wild.
Let me tell you something.
Maybe you did things because you were free. You didn't have to worry about school. Take that and make that a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Now make that. Hold on. Make the fact. How lucky are the Heat that Tyler Herro has been playing in the midst of a pandemic? Like, imagine if Tyler Herro was able to really have the keys to the city after going to the finals. And by keys to the city, I mean any club that he wants to.
Or anywhere Astron was assembling.
Right. like imagine if it was really all open to him as it was last year, and then talk about what the concern was. But it's one of those things where I don't think this is a reason for why he's struggling. I think he's struggling, like, from what you said. I think the league's adjusted to him a little bit. I don't think there's been as rapid a development from him. The work ethic thing has never been questioned with him. If anything, everybody says that he works his ass off. But I think
and they questioned that in the article, saying that he didn't work out as hard, hasn't been working as hard or whatever.
I don't know. If that's the case, that's a new thing, because that's never been the bag on him. That he's been a gym rat never. Basically basically his entire basketball career.
But
pre NBA.
The one thing, the one thing that frustrates me about sports is this, right? It's like Robbie Tua.
Oh my God.
5 years ago, you would always look at your quarterback that played the way Tua did and say, okay, now we can make that next step. We're getting there, right? Now, all of a sudden, if it don't work in 5 minutes with any player, everybody starts having major concerns.
Right. But even take the irrational Tua judgments out of it. Like, we've all said that, like, one thing that Tua is really going to benefit from this year is he is going to be able to physically build himself like he wasn't able to last year.
Right.
And Tyler wasn't
given. Work out with Tyler.
Well, yeah, but Tyler wasn't given that chance because the season started in 3 weeks.
Right. No. Again, all these things are valid. And they all make sense. I'm just more patient with young players. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. Like the offensive lineman that had a second chance and was late. Like, yo, I can't do nothing for you. You know, but guys that have success their first year and struggle their second year, let's not act like that's a unique situation.
We'll take a quick break. You guys can text the show at 786-360-0790. You guys can watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/790ticket. We're back after this.